Hello everyone, good evening, a warm welcome for the session today. Today we are still continuing the series of learning the lesson. And I think we are on day 8 today, if I'm not wrong. So we have till now done lessons about others, about relationships. The first week, it was all about relationship lessons that we need to learn. This week, we are trying to focus on lessons from our own life, from our own self, from whatever we are. Now, today, the lesson is mainly on inner reflection, and it is about lessons that we can learn from our weaknesses, from our faults. Is there anyone out here who does not have any weakness or does not have any fault in them? ऐसा कोई भी इंसान यहाँ पे है जिसके अंदर कोई कमी नहीं है, कोई कमजोरी नहीं है, कोई भी वीकनेस नहीं है? बाय चांस अगर हो तो मैं डेफिनेटली आपसे मिलना चाहूंगी पर्सनली. ओके, नो वन. आप हैं पर लोग नहीं मानते. ओके, मैं डेफिनेटली आपसे पर्सनली भी मिलना चाहूंगी अगर आप बेशक बिना वीकनेस बिना पहुंच गए हैं तो. ओके, तो लेट्स सी कि हम अपने वीकनेसेस से और अपने फॉल्ट से भी क्या सीख सकते हैं. ओके, सो रिपीटेड बिहेवियर हमें खोजना है अगर हम लेसन सीखना चाहते हैं. इफ वी वांट टू लर्न एनी लेसन दैट इज कनेक्टेड टू आवर लाइफ, then the most important aspect is we have to search for the repeated behavior. Correct? Now, in our life, we need to focus on this one aspect today first. Do people point out your faults and your mistakes or your weaknesses often? Think. Let us all think about it. Do other people, your family members, your friends, your office colleague, anybody, outsiders, do they point out your weaknesses and point out your weaknesses and your faults and your character defects and your mistakes often? Is this happening repeatedly with you? Do you get very offended with that? So I will give very small examples. All right. So say for example, there is a man who's a very, very honest man, and he's very hardworking, very intelligent, very loving, caring, a good team worker. But this person gets very late. Whenever he reaches office, he's always very late. And what happens is the boss, the employees, the colleagues, they don't look at his good points. They ignore his character strengths. But everybody points out to him, you are a late comer. You are a late comer. You always come late. You are never punctual. You know you will one day suffer because of this late coming habit. Does this happen with you? That people, they are not at all worried about your positive aspects of life, but they keep on pointing at your weakness, keep on pointing at your fault. Okay, so I'll just repeat this thing in Hindi once. आपको अपनी जिंदगी के बारे में सोचना है एक बार कि क्या ऐसा आपके साथ होता है कि आप में 100 अच्छाइयाँ है, बहुत सारे गुण है, बहुत सारा स्ट्रेंथ है आपके कैरेक्टर में, लेकिन लोग कॉन्स्टेंटली आपकी एक बुराई, एक कमजोरी, एक वीकनेस के पीछे पड़े हुए रहते हैं. हमेशा उसको पॉइंट आउट करते रहते हैं, आपको जताते रहते हैं, आपको बार बार उस चीज को आपके सामने लाते रहते हैं. शायद हो सकता है कि वो वीकनेस सही भी ना हो, शायद हो सकता है कि आप एक दो बार एक गलती से कोई चीज कर दिए हो, पर लोग वो आपको आपके कैरेक्टर फ्लॉ की तरह से बार बार दिखाते रहते हैं. क्या ऐसा होता है आपके साथ? या रिपीटेडली आपको बार बार वही चीज बोला जाता है? मान लीजिए कभी गलती से आपने एक बार एक झूठ बोल दिया और लोग आपको बोलते हैं तुम दुनिया के सबसे बड़े झूठे हो. उस दिन याद है झूठ बोला था, पर वो लोग भूल जाते कि अरे मैंने 100 दिन सच भी तो बोला था. वो एक दिन झूठ बोल दिया था, लेकिन वो एक दिन पकड़ के लोग बैठ गए एंड रिपीटेडली वो आपके सामने आता रहता है. So try to find out in your life, is this thing getting repeated? That people are constantly focusing on your weakness, on your defect, on your character flaws. If yes, then what do you need to learn from this? We don't like it, right? None of us like it. That people will constantly poke us, constantly tell us something about our character defect, about our flaws, about our weaknesses. Even if it is physical, some people, they will constantly, like, you're a beautiful person, you have a beautiful eyes, you have a beautiful smile, but maybe you are having a little bit of a hair loss. People will constantly poke you. Oh, your hair is all going away. Oh, you're going to become bald one day. Hurry, you're having so much of hair loss. Do something about it. People are least bothered about your good looks, about your smile, about your eyes. They're only focused on your hair, maybe, which is suffering with some kind of a problem. Does this happen with you? If yes, then what is the lesson that you need to learn from here? The biggest lesson that we need to learn from this aspect is looking out for perfection in yourself, in others, and also accepting the weaknesses and faults. Yes, sometimes we are also doing this with others. Absolutely correct. So what is the lesson that you need to learn from here? Number one, of course, yes, are you doing this with others as well? Because if you are looking out for perfection, then what will happen? You are going to look out for those small faults in others as well. But when you are doing this with others, you do not bother about it. It doesn't strike your mind. But when others are doing the same thing with you, that time you get annoyed. You get angry. You get upset. Why are people doing this with me? Can't they see I am doing so many good things? Why are they only bothered about my weakness? But hello, are you doing this with others? That is the first thing you need to check. Am I doing this with others as well? Maybe my spouse, my children, my family members, my colleague, my boss is an exceptional person, very good person, but they have one fault and I am constantly poking at that one fault. If yes, then that karma is coming back to you. You cannot get annoyed, you cannot get upset, you cannot criticize these people because you are doing the same thing with them. But even more than this is another lesson that you need to learn, and that is acceptance of weaknesses and faults in yourself as well as in others. Now, this session is mainly focused on self. Because if you learn how to accept your own faults, it will be easy for you to accept the fault of other people as well. You know, charity begins at home, bolte hai na? So these things, these good lessons should also begin at home, should begin from you yourself. I'll just repeat this in Hindi once. क्या लेसन लर्न करना है आपको अगर आपके साथ ये बार बार हो रहा है? सबसे पहला लेसन, क्या आप भी ये दूसरों के साथ कर रहे हो? क्या दूसरों की अच्छाइयां आप नजरअंदाज करके सिर्फ दूसरों की बुराइयों पे फोकस कर रहे हो? क्या आप बार बार दूसरों की गलतियां निकाल के उनके सामने रख रहे हो? और दूसरा लेसन क्या लर्न करना है? खुद को खुद की कमजोरियों के साथ एक्सेप्ट करना. ये समझ लेना कि दुनिया में कोई परफेक्ट नहीं होता. No one, even God is not perfect. The ultimate supreme God को हम लोग परफेक्ट बोलते हैं, लेकिन अगर आप उस लेवल के नीचे भी अगर आप सोचे तो देखिए भगवान में भी 3 डिविजन है, लव, लाइट एंड पावर. ब्रह्मा, विष्णु, शिवा. शिवा की जो क्वालिटीज है वो ब्रह्मा में नहीं है. ब्रह्मा में जो क्वालिटीज है वो विष्णु में नहीं है. विष्णु की क्वालिटीज शिवा में नहीं है. वहां पे भी 3 अलग डिविजन है, एक एक जन एक एक जगह माहिर है ना? तो जब भगवान में ही एक एक स्पेशलाइजेशन है और कुछ कमियां हैं, हम तो सिर्फ ही इंसान हैं. When you look at God, just imagine, God also is not perfect. They have their own specialization, love, light, and power. If you look at Vishnu, then Vishnu is not considered to be the destroyer, right? If you need to destroy something, if you need ultimate power, you will go towards Shiva. If you need tremendous amount of creativity, you need to give birth, then perhaps Shiva is not going to give birth. Brahma is the one who's going to give birth, right? Create something. So similarly, if God has three levels, three powers, then we are all human beings. We cannot be perfect. You will have some character flaws, you will have some character defects, you will have some weaknesses, you will have some negative energies. You need to accept them wholeheartedly, happily. You need to focus on your good points, on your strengths, and accept that, okay, I have some negative energies, I have some faults, I have certain things on which I need to improve. It's okay, it's perfectly fine. The day you can accept yourself with your mistakes, with your weaknesses, with your flaws, the world is also going to accept you like that. But if you yourself cannot accept your weaknesses and faults, then how can you expect others to do it? Right? हम लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि पूरी दुनिया क्यों मेरे पीछे पड़ी हुई है, क्यों मेरे एक कमजोरी के पीछे पड़ी हुई है, मेरे अंदर इतनी सारी खूबियां हैं, वो तो कोई नहीं देखता. मेरा सवाल फिर आपसे ये है कि क्या आप खुद अपनी खूबियों को देख रहे हैं? क्या आप खुद अपनी कमजोरियों को एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं? I will share my own story out here. When I was younger, I'm still young. When I was younger, or when I say when I was a child, I was very, very upset about my looks. I was very fat. I was very dark skinned. And I was most upset about my teeth. I never smiled. Many people who know me from many, many years know this. I have shared this story even before. I never smiled. You would always look at me like if I have to laugh, I would always, okay, I'm laughing. Behind the hands, I'm laughing. I would never laugh or smile because I felt that my teeth are so awkwardly shaped and they look so monstrous. I used to call myself a monster. ऐसे कि मुझे कभी मेरे बचपन से आज तक का कितना भी फोटोज आप देख लो, आपको कभी मेरा स्माइलिंग फोटो नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि आई ऑलवेज फेल्ट आई लुक सो बैड व्हाइल स्माइलिंग. तो मेरे अंदर वो जो थॉट फॉर्म था ना, वो इतना डीप रूटेड था कि वही चीज बाहर भी रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा था. लोग मेरी खूबियों को नहीं देख रहे थे, बस मेरी कमजोरियों को देख रहे थे. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं खुद अपनी कमजोरी के ऊपर फोकस कर रही थी. I was only bothered about my irregular, unshaped teeth, etc. I did not smile. I did not enjoy life. Even if I wanted to laugh and giggle and smile and everything, I never did it. क्यों? क्योंकि मेरे अंदर वो consciousness था. I was not accepting myself with my flaws, with my defects. Right? So that is the reason even the people from outside, they were focusing only on my faults. But that used to make me very angry. For example, I will say, I had a problem. I could never wake up early in the morning. Okay. But then when I used to wake up, the whole day I am doing all the work of the house, everything. Now my mom used to always keep pointing at me, why don't you wake up early? Why don't you wake up early? So I used to get annoyed. I used to tell her, Ari, I am doing everything so perfectly. You're not looking at that. You're only looking at this one fault that I have, that I cannot wake up early in the morning. And the same thing happened with everyone. My brother, wherever I went into an office for working, my friends, they were only focusing on my faults. They were not concentrating on my good points. Later on, I realized, much later, I realized that I am also doing the same thing with myself. Thank you, Amriti. I didn't know that. But very honestly speaking, in the last, I think, 2, 3, 4 years, I have never stopped myself from laughing. Never. Even if you're taking a photo of me, even if you're doing something, I don't bother nowadays. I really don't bother nowadays. I'm happy smiling. Well, no matter it really doesn't matter to me how my teeth looks. Now I have accepted myself with my looks, with my features. It's okay if my teeth are not in the correct shape. It's okay if I did not wear braces in my school days. That's okay. It's a part of me. And actually, believe me, the world has also changed. The world has really changed. My own family members, my own friends, those same people who earlier used to point out my mistakes, now they actually, compliment me. They see the good side of my actions, of my behavior, of my words, of my looks. And everything has changed around me just because I have changed myself. मैंने अपना लेसन लर्न किया. मैंने इस चीज को लर्न किया कि मेरे अंदर अगर एक कमी है, इट्स ओके, मेरी जिंदगी का पार्ट है. मैंने अपने आप को एक्सेप्ट किया जैसी मैं हूं, बिल्कुल वैसे. सबसे बड़ा चेंज जो मेरी जिंदगी में हुआ, मैं खुल के हंसना सीखी, जो पहले नहीं था मेरे अंदर. कुछ भी हो, मुझे कितना भी मजा आ रहा हो या मैं हंसना चाहती हूँ, मैं हंसती नहीं थी. आई एम ऑलवेज लाइक, why hide yourself behind bars? Why? So that is the lesson which I learned. मैंने अपने आप को जैसे मैं हूँ वैसे मैंने एक्सेप्ट करना सीखा. एंड अब दुनिया भी मेरे प्लस पॉइंट्स को बेटर देख पा रही है. मेरी कमजोरियों पे अब कोई बॉदर ही नहीं करता. मैं रादर अपनी कमजोरियों को खोज के निकालती हूँ. इनर रिफ्लेक्शन के दौरान मैं उसको ठीक करने की कोशिश करती हूँ. बट दुनिया मेरे पॉजिटिव्स पे, मेरे क्वालिटीज पे, मेरी अच्छाइयों पे ज्यादा फोकस कर रही है. Thank you. This is what is all about today's session. You all have some weaknesses, just like me. मेरे ही जैसे आपके अंदर भी कुछ ना कुछ कमी जरूर रही होगी. At all levels, physical level पे है, कोई बहुत दुबला पतला है तो कोई थोड़ा heavy है. Somebody has a beautiful hair, to somebody has a beautiful eyes. Maybe somebody has a burnt skin. Maybe somebody has one leg is a little short, one leg is a little long. Maybe one of you have some kind of a missing arm or a missing leg. Now let's come to the emotions. Maybe one of you have extreme anger. Maybe one of you have a lying habit. Maybe one of you have a habit of getting late. Maybe one of you have, some kind of an emotional weakness. It's okay. You need to first tell yourself, I am not perfect, and this imperfection is okay. I accept myself with my imperfections. I love myself with my imperfections. हम बहुत ज्यादा टाइम इस जिंदगी का खो देते हैं परफेक्शन को खोजते हुए. परफेक्ट क्यों नहीं है, परफेक्ट क्यों नहीं है, परफेक्ट क्यों नहीं है. और इस परफेक्शन के चलते हम जो टाइम एंजॉय कर सकते थे अपने इम्परफेक्शंस के साथ, वो भी खो देते हैं. वो निकल जाता है हमारे हाथ से. Life is very short. You don't know when is your last day. But in the search of perfection, we completely lose the time which we could have enjoyed being imperfect. So now I feel, मैं जब अपने पुराने फोटोग्राफ्स देखती हूँ, अपने बचपन के फोटोग्राफ्स देखती हूँ, मेरे बर्थडे के फोटोग्राफ्स, मेरे फैमिली के साथ फोटोग्राफ्स, I have gone on vacations and those photographs, and in every photograph I have a missing smile. I don't see that small little Pyali smiling. I wish so badly कि I could go back to those days. उन्हीं days में वापस जाके वही same position पे फोटो खींचना है, but with a smile now. But the time is gone. That time will not come back. Maybe I will not go back to those places anymore. Obviously, those memories will not come back to me anymore. So it is my request to you. आज का lesson जो हमें learn करना है वो ये है कि हमारे अंदर जो imperfections है, जो कमियां हैं, उन चीजों को एक्सेप्ट करने की कोशिश कीजिए खुशी के साथ. मैं ये नहीं बोल रही हूँ कि जिंदगी भर इम्परफेक्ट रहिए. अगर आज मुझे ऑप्शन मिलता है टू रेक्टिफाई माय टीथ और समथिंग, मे बी आई विल गो फॉर इट, मे बी, आई डोंट नो. बट कैरेक्टर फ्लॉज, जैसे आपके अंदर का कोई कैरेक्टर फ्लॉ है, उसको रेक्टिफाई करने की कोशिश कीजिए, इनर रिफ्लेक्शन कीजिए, अपने प्रैक्टिसेस कीजिए, ट्राई टू बिकम अ बेटर पर्सन. बट डोंट हेट, don't criticize your own flaws and your own weaknesses to such an extent that life is taken away from you. Don't spend your time criticizing yourself. Rather, quickly उसको identify कीजिए, उसके ऊपर work कीजिए, practice कीजिए कि चलो मेरे अंदर कुछ anger issues है, I will work on my anger issues. I will try to reduce my anger issues. But don't keep criticizing yourself with this point. I always get angry. I always get angry. One day this anger will, spoil my life. Because the more you say this, the more anger energies will come to you. Or you get late. Say, for example, you're not a punctual person. You get late. Don't keep saying this to yourself. I always get late. I always get late. I always get late. Don't say that to yourself. It's okay. At least you're reaching, right? At least you're taking an effort to reach somewhere, right? Maybe you're getting late. Okay. So today we will do the inner reflection regarding what is our own faults, what is our own weaknesses. We will also do the inner reflection whether we are over criticizing ourselves or not. Are we really, pushing ourselves to the limits and criticizing ourselves, hating ourselves, being too hard on ourselves? And then we will do the forgiveness with our own self. This week it is a self-forgiveness time. We will do forgiveness with our own self. If we have over-criticized ourselves, been over-judgmental with ourselves, with our weaknesses, if we have pushed ourselves to the limits for perfection, etc., etc., in this course, have we really lost something? हम इसी चीज के ऊपर आज फोकस करेंगे. क्या हम अपने ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा ओवर क्रिटिकल है, अपने आप को सिर्फ नेगेटिव बोलते रहते हैं, अपनी छोटी सी छोटी गलतियों को माफ नहीं कर पाते हैं, और इस चक्कर में क्या हमने जिंदगी से बहुत कुछ खो दिया है? बहुत कुछ पा सकते थे, पर वो पाने की जगह वो क्रिटिसाइजिंग में बहुत कुछ खो दिया. Okay, so I will another point I will just say out here. I know somebody who had a beautiful figure. Like I would personally be really wanting to have a figure like that. But this lady I know, she always felt that she's too thin. And she kept on praying, I want to get fat, I want to get fat, I want to get fat. And if she's wearing a dress, she would say, I am not looking good, I'm so thin, I want to get fat. Now, one day, I don't know, after some years when I met this lady, she had become very fat, almost 80 kilos and all. And then she was running to the gym to lose her weight. And then she was not being able to get into her clothes. She was not being able to get into her jewelries. And she was like really crying and dieting and everything. And I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. So what happened? ये जो चक्कर था, she wanted to be perfect. She already had a beautiful figure, but she wanted to get perfect. So इस चक्कर में क्या हुआ, उनके लाइफ से बहुत टाइम चला गया, उनकी लाइफ से बहुत सारी खुशी चली गई. जहां वो ब्यूटीफुली ड्रेस करके अपने फिगर, अपने चीज के ऊपर खुश हो सकती थी, वहां वो तब भी क्रिप कर रही थी, I want to get fat, I want to get fat. जब वो फैट हो गई तब भी वो क्रिप कर रही थी, I want to become slim, I want to become slim. इस चक्कर में क्या हुआ, जिंदगी से बहुत सारी खुशी चली गई, बहुत सारा एंजॉयमेंट चला गया, राइट? सो I picked up these two examples because that is from my own seen examples. Maybe there are many, many more. So let us do the inner reflection. I request everyone, please close your eyes. Take a big, long breath, deep breath. Be aware of yourself, be aware of your life. Be aware of your weaknesses. Maybe you can have a physical weakness, a physical defect, a physical imperfection. Be aware of that. Let's talk about the emotions. Maybe you have an emotional weakness. Maybe you have a character flaw. Maybe there is some aspect of your character, of your emotions that can be better, that needs improvement. Think about your life, your finances, your relationships. Maybe one of your relationship is really causing you some trouble. It is not perfect. It has a lot of problems and issues. Maybe one aspect of your life has some defects, has some problems. Now be aware, are you overcritical with yourself regarding this aspect? Do you constantly judge yourself? Do you constantly criticize yourself? Or do you constantly cry and crib only because of this one thing that is missing in your life? Maybe one of your relationship is very bad, is almost as if not there. But then there are many relationships which are beautiful in your life. However, you are only bothered about that one relationship which is gone. You are not being grateful for all the beautiful relations that you have in your life. Maybe you have a problem related to your finances. However, your family is too good, your relationships are too good, your health is too good, but you are not bothered about them. You're only focusing on that one thing which is missing in your life. Are you being overcritical, over-judgmental, too harsh with yourself, related to your weaknesses, related to your flaws, related to your problems, related to your defects? Are you turning blind towards your good aspects of life, towards your strengths, towards your powers, towards all the gifts that God has given you? एक बार ध्यान से अपने जिंदगी के बारे में सोचें, जो आपके पास नहीं है या खराब है या कमजोर है, क्या आप अपना सारा कंसंट्रेशन उसी के ऊपर दे रहे हैं? और जो कुछ भी आपके लाइफ में है, आपका स्ट्रेंथ है, आपका खूबी है, आपकी पावर्स है, उसके बारे में आप बॉदर भी नहीं कर रहे हैं? क्या ऐसा हो रहा है आपकी जिंदगी में? If this is true, then people all around you will also focus on your negative energies. All the people around you will only point out your mistakes, will only criticize you, will only show your negativity, only show your defects, your weaknesses. People around you, your family members, your loved ones will ignore your qualities if you yourself cannot do it for yourself. आप अगर खुद की क्वालिटीज को देख नहीं पा रहे हैं तो पूरी दुनिया कैसे देखेगी? अगर आप खुद की कमजोरी के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, पूरी दुनिया भी आपकी कमजोरियों के पीछे ही भागेगी. So learn this lesson. Be aware, learn this lesson today. Imagine yourself, you are sitting in front of you. You are a brilliant, beautiful white light. You are the soul. As a soul, try to look at your own self, look at your own body. Look at your own emotions. Look at your own thoughts. Look at your own life. Put your hands in front of your heart and gently look at yourself again and say, Atma Namaste, Atma Namaste, Atma Namaste. I, the soul, humbly salute the divinity within you. I, the soul, I can see there's a divine being within you. I, the soul, I can look at all your perfections and all your imperfections. I, the soul, I can look at all your qualities, your goodness, your positivities. I, the soul, I can look at all your negativities, all your defects, all your faults, all your weaknesses. I, the soul, I can see everything inside you. Please take your name. Please take your own name. Pyari, I, the soul, I can see all your good and all your bad. And I accept you just the way you are. I accept you with your good and with your bad. I accept you with your powers and with your weaknesses. I accept you with your qualities and with your faults. I accept you just the way you are. Please forgive me if I have ever been too critical, too harsh with you. Please forgive me if I have hurt you, given you pain because of all the mistakes, because of your flaws, because of your weaknesses. Please forgive me if I have been over judgmental with you. Please forgive me if I have only focused on your faults ever in this lifetime. Please forgive me if I have looked out for perfections within you. And in this process, I have hurt you. I have snatched away your happiness. I have taken away your smile. I have taken away your goodness from you. Please forgive me. I am truly, deeply, sincerely sorry. Please forgive me if I have been the reason of your hurt and pain. Please forgive me. I, the soul, I, the child of God, I have learned my lesson. I have realized that if I cannot accept you, how will the world accept you? If I cannot love you with your mistakes and faults and weaknesses, how will the universe love you? If I cannot accept you with whatever you have and you don't have, how will people around you accept you? Please forgive me for my mistakes. I have learned my lesson. I have learned my lesson. I have learned my lesson. May the divine supreme God bless us with his love, mercy, compassion, and forgiveness. May the divine supreme God bless us with the inner strength to accept ourselves with our flaws and mistakes. May peace be with you and with me. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om May all the unauthorized negative thoughts attached to me be cut, cut, cut. Smile at yourself. Smile at your weaknesses, at your faults, and say, I love you. Take your name once again. When you take your name, you start accepting yourself. Say, I love you. I love you just the way you are. We will become better. We will improve. We will grow. But at the same time, I love you the way you are. I accept you the way you are. I love you. I love you. I love you. Smile at yourself once again. Look at yourself with a lot of happiness, joy. You might not have pride within you, but look at yourself with good self-esteem. Everybody has mistakes, everybody has imperfections, so do I. So look at yourself with a positive self-image. अपने तरफ खुशी के साथ देखिए, इज्जत के साथ देखिए, रिस्पेक्ट की तरफ देखिए. सबके अंदर कमियां होती हैं, मेरे अंदर भी है. उस कमी की तरफ नहीं, अपनी खूबियों की तरफ देखिए. And accept yourself just the way you are. Together we will invoke that the beautiful love, light and power that will come down within us during this meditation, it is going to teach us how to love ourselves. It is going to bless us with love, light and power. Whatever weakness we have within us will be healed. When we have the power to accept ourselves, when we have the love within ourselves, when we have the right knowledge, the right wisdom to improve our weaknesses, that is the time when we will become the best. So may the love, light and power of this twin heart meditation bless us, heal us at all levels today. We are all super receptive, in full faith, so be it.